Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday. And this battle, I picked this battle because for multiple reasons. There's multiple reasons why I wanted to kind of show off this battle. Starting off, let's actually take a look at the teams. We are playing on Ring, playing standard battle. There's a Zuho, Queen Elizabeth, Fuso, Texas, Congo, Leander, Graspe, Farragut, Shinonome, Nicholas, and two T-22s. On the enemy team, there is a Bogue, Bayern, Fuso, New York, Julio Cesar, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, De Grasse, Nuremberg, Omaha, Gade, Fubuki, Nicholas, and a Kamikaze. So, showing off the Tier 6, obviously this is the Tier 6 Premium that you can only get after you complete the harder campaign that World of Warships does have. It's a nice ship. It's very similar to the Fubuki in a lot of ways. Torpedoes are a little bit better. They don't have the distance that the Fubuki does have. Actually, I believe the Fubuki has about the same, but probably one major downside of the Shinonome is her AA defense is quite terrible. So the reason why I picked this battle is, one, at the very end is very exciting, and it comes down to a very close game. Second reason is CVs are, well, it's been an issue for this game for some time now. We've had a lot of issues as to where CVs really fit in, and not a lot of people play them. They can be very, very powerful, as you will see. This enemy CV is very, very commanding of the skies. Does an excellent job constantly spotting us. And it's going to be a major issue throughout this battle. The second reason why I kind of picked this battle, or a third reason, I guess, if you're counting the first one for being exciting, is the fact of paying attention to the minimap, paying attention to your objective and what is happening within the battle, because it really comes down to the fact of what the enemy team does and does not do, as well as our team. Our team wasn't the greatest, and I will fully admit I wasn't really that big of an impact in this battle at all. Really came down to the end where I was able to really do something to assist our team, but I don't want to spoil too much until we get there. So Shinonome, once again, is actually a really good destroyer. Obviously, major downside is her AA defense is lousy. Range on the AA guns is 1.2 kilometers, something like that. It's terrible. It's pretty much non-existent. That's why I am using the smoke screen to my advantage. And the enemy CV does a really good job. And this is one thing that CVs are very powerful, is spotting. It makes destroyers very difficult to play. That keeps them in check, because especially as an IGN destroyer, especially this low tier, has a very difficult job as far as taking down or even trying to do damage, because you are almost constantly spotted. You are unable to get those torpedo drops that you would love to get, because your torpedoes are either spotted or the enemy battleships become aware that you are around. So once again, CVs are very, very powerful, and the enemy CV does a really good job of this. Not saying anything wrong against our own CV. The only major issue for our CV is the fact that he is playing the Zuho, which its fighters aren't the greatest in the world. It is viable. You can use it for your benefit. You can actually take on a Bogue if you're more experienced, and that's the thing with CVs, is the fact there is a somewhat steep learning curve. I don't want to say overly steep, but there is a learning curve, and it makes it difficult to play the CVs. And I'm not saying make it super easy, but sometimes the UI of CV and controls of controlling the planes and whatnot can be frustrating. And I agree with this, because I do, or haven't really played that much CV, so I will forfeit any really good experience from an expert CV player, because I know I'm not an excellent CV player. It's definitely one of my weaker ships, definitely a ship I do not play all too often. But you can see how this CV captain constantly keeps us spotted. Has a fighter. He's actually protecting Cap. We can't really push in. Obviously, there is obviously a Farragut there. Since I am detected, might as well open up. There is also the Julio that we did see, and for whatever reason, RNG loved me in this battle. I do go ahead and pop my own smoke screen, and this is really a big factor because I am actually popping smoke screen, and I'm trying to stay invisible as long as possible because this CV really wants me dead. And once again, that's the power of the CV. But the good thing is, because I'm around, he is keeping his fighters around, that it is preventing him from helping to defend his teams from the other side, from our own friendly CV player. So that is one good thing about it, is it does prevent that enemy CV captain from constantly attacking you. Now the Shinonome, torpedoes are good. Guns are decent. I would say they're very viable, especially in this instance where we have a Farragut that is starting to rush us. Now I am a little bit rusty as far as what the detection is for the Shinonome, just due to the fact that, well, it's been a while. I actually don't think, let's actually look what the it's 2.6. Oh wow, I had plenty of room, but I have no idea what this Farragut's doing. I don't know, but this Farragut, I mean, he does a good job. He does take out a few of our friendly ships, but at the exact same time, the enemy team is actually pushing quite heavily on the eastern front. Our team is in the middle. I actually don't know why. There we've lost our T-22, and I'm expecting torpedoes from this Farragut, but I think for the most part we are safe. But our smoke screen is now dissipated. I actually was a little bit too late on the whole moving, but fortunately for us, RNG just loved us. Loved me. Like, oh my word, watch this. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing. I think engines got knocked out or something like that. No damage to torpedoes. Julio Caesar completely missed. Yeah, see, and here's the thing, the CV is keeping me constantly spotted. Now our team's not doing so hot. We actually have, I believe, a kamikaze all the way up north. Just took out a friendly battleship, and that's what the friendly CV should be doing, is keeping that destroyer spotted, because he is obviously a major threat. With the enemy CV spotting me, I'm not likely I'm going to get any torpedoes off and likely to hit against this Julio Caesar, because he is kind of at an extent of my range that would be fairly viable. I really have no idea why I'm rushing. There's also Omaha that should be dead by now, but unfortunately is not. And our smoke screen should just about come off cooldown. I am going to try go ahead and pop it. Because obviously the Julio is spotting us, and ooh, somewhat big hit, but nothing too bad. Something I could definitely survive of. And I don't know why this Baron's complaining. Yeah, there has been a lot of destroyers playing, but there's been a lot of battleships playing too. So yeah, I really don't know why he's complaining. Now the Julio is starting to somewhat charge us. I don't exactly know why he does decide to start pushing towards us, because that is a very dangerous maneuver. I am trying to be cautious, waiting for my torpedoes to be reloaded, and it does look like he is starting to turn in. Now our torpedoes actually go very quickly in the water. I believe they're around 65 knots. 65, 69, something like that. So they're actually really good speeding torpedoes. But unfortunately for me, I'm not able to get a torpedo hit. Just barely misses him. But the T-22, the one that is actually starting to cap for us, or was trying to cap for us, does land a torpedoes here. I'm just going to try to get a fire set on this Julio, but yeah, RNG just did not like me here, which I guess is forgiveness. Now the enemy CV is once again back towards us, and our team's not doing so hot. As you can see, we've lost 6 ships to their 4, and the enemy team is right at our doorsteps. There's actually no one really there to defend, while the enemy team has both the Julio and also the Omaha to defend. Looks like the Graf Bay finally took out the Julio, and oh my word, there is a Fubuki. Where did you come from? I do not know. So we have obviously spotted the Fubuki. Torpedoes I don't think are going to be viable as far as ours actually landing on him. He does dodge them, and the enemy CV finally comes in, and he finally gets the strike. This is his first strike to actually land properly on us. Now, I am obviously very nervous about the Fubuki's torpedoes, so I am obviously going to be sailing away, and he finally goes down to the friendly Grass Bay, and the enemy team is starting to chase after our Zuho. There is the Gade that is starting to push in, and our friendly team T-22 and the Graf Bay are starting to cap now. There is obviously the Julio that is going to be a major threat to them. That's the only ship besides obviously the CV that will pose an issue. And once again, look where the enemy CV's planes are. Yeah, he's sitting right above us, almost constantly keeping us spotted. But honestly, at this time, there's not much we can do for the Leander or the Zuho. I was thinking about taking on the Gade, but right now we need to defend our cap because both the New York and the Fuso have been in our cap for so long that they are over halfway done, and I am actually technically the closest ship that would be able to successfully reset this cap. Now this is a good strategy you can do because this will ensure that we have a possibility of winning, because we do have the T-22 and the Graf Bay down at their cap that are currently capping, and I'm actually technically the closest ship to the enemy team that can possibly reset it. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up. Might as well. I'm gonna be spotted by the enemy CV, and there we go. We get a reset on the New York. And the enemy team battleships, I think, are more focused on trying to reset their own cap. We are getting some good resets. Back guns are starting to turn around. Unfortunately, they are Japanese destroyer guns, so they do have a slight turn time, but we get actually a last salvo right before we got behind the island. So, I mean, that is definitely a good thing. And there we go. We have reset the cap quite perfectly. Now, unfortunately, we have been reset as well. So the enemy team is in the lead as far as capture points. They finally took out the Julio, and all that pretty much the only thing the enemy team can do is either sell out of our cap and reset us, or allow the enemy CV to try to reset us, but we'll see what happens. Now, keep in mind, I have been spotted, as I am right now, for probably the past couple minutes, and so these battleship captains have to know there's a Shinonome starting to come in between these islands, and obviously I'm almost right on them. There's 4.6, but they're so focused on the enemy CV that they're just now starting to react right now. New York's starting to power out, but the Fuso is in a horrible position. Fuso is actually almost coming towards me at this time, and this is where you don't want to be. So I'm gonna see if I can go ahead, drop my torpedoes. Now here I should have just try to get another set off that. The New York wasn't quite certain if these torpedoes are gonna hit, but oh yes they do. There we go. Got a devastating strike on the Fuso, reset them completely, and fortunately we did go down. But at that time, we can actually start capping. We should be able to cap out the enemy team. Now the T-22 wanted to rush back, but at this time and place, we are in actually a really good position. Now, very exciting at the very end. Great to take out that Fuso, and we should be able to take control of this. I don't think the enemy CV is going to be able to get back in time to reset us, so we are going to win this. And as I probably pointed out multiple times, there's a few things you probably should have learned from this battle is keeping an eye on the minimap, keeping a watchful eye on destroyers. Like I said, the enemy CV captain did a fantastic job maintaining control over the sky, constantly keeping the destroyers spotted, but it really came down to the fact that the enemy team did very little. They just rushed to our cap, obviously shooting along the way, but they did very little to actually try to protect their own cap. Obviously, the Julio was kind of to be expected to protect it, but unfortunately that did not work out for them. But anyways, this is going to be it for this episode of Funday Sunday, and we are officially going to cap and we're going to win. I was not expecting to win out of this. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.